Basic Rasengan. The Basic Rasengan is one of the most iconic ninjutsu in Naruto, created by Minato Namikaze while he was still a jonin. Drawing inspiration from the Tailed Beast's Tailed Beast Bomb, Minato compressed chakra into a pure rotating sphere with extremely high density, generating tremendous destructive force without the need for hand seals. It is this mastery of chakra control that makes the Rasengan a technique that appears simple in form, yet terrifying in power. After completing the technique, Minato passed the Rasengan on to Jiraiya, who later taught it to Naruto. From that point on, it became a legacy inherited across generations, with users such as Konohamaru and Boruto maintaining its status as a core technique of the entire series. At first, Naruto struggled greatly with chakra control, so he had to rely on the shadow clone technique to divide the process. One clone focused on releasing chakra, while the other handled shaping the sphere. Naruto's first use of the Rasengan in actual combat was against Kabuto, and although his execution was still clumsy, the attack clearly demonstrated the technique's overwhelming power. Earlier than that, Minato's Rasengan combined with the Flying Thunder God technique when it struck Obito had already become one of the most iconic moments in the entire Naruto series. Vermilion Rasengan. Vermilion Rasengan is a variant created when Naruto is influenced by Kurama's chakra. Thanks to this violent chakra source, Naruto was able for the first time to form a complete Rasengan with just one hand, without relying on the shadow clone technique, something he was previously completely incapable of doing. The core of the Rasengan retains its familiar blue color, but it is enveloped by a dark red layer of the Nine Tails chakra, greatly amplifying the technique's power and destructive capacity far beyond that of a normal Rasengan. Naruto used this technique during the fateful battle against Sasuke at the Valley of the End, when Sasuke was in Curse Mark Stage 2 and unleashed the Black Chidori. The direct clash between the two attacks produced a massive chakra explosion, forming a dark energy sphere that engulfed the entire battlefield. The scale and destructive force of this explosion far surpassed anything the Rasengan had displayed before, making it one of the most iconic and unforgettable visual moments in the entire Naruto series. Odama Rasengan. Odama Rasengan is a Rasengan variant that focuses on expanding the size and destructive power of the technique to a level far beyond the basic form. To use it, Naruto must expend a significantly larger amount of chakra, but in exchange both the striking force and the area of effect increased dramatically. This variant first appeared during the Gaara retrieval arc, when Naruto was in a partial transformation state under the influence of Kurama's chakra and used it to defeat Itachi's clone. Although he had support from Kakashi's clone to restrain the opponent, and Itachi himself was not fighting seriously, the power of the Odama Rasengan still far exceeded that of a normal Rasengan, to the point that even Itachi showed clear surprise when he was struck by it. Rasengan Barrage. Rasengan Barrage, also known as Twin Rasengan, is an overwhelming Rasengan variant that Naruto used during his battle with Pain. This technique combines two Rasengan launched almost simultaneously, either with the support of a shadow clone or by Naruto himself wielding one Rasengan in each hand as he charges directly at the target. Naruto used this ninjutsu to eliminate the Asura path, clearly demonstrating his tremendous growth in close quarters combat ability. Even if one strike misses, the other can still hit the target, making this technique both highly dangerous and tactically effective. A single Rasengan is already capable of turning the tide of battle, but two at once serve as clear proof of Naruto's dominant and decisive fighting style at this stage. Wind Release Rasengan. Wind Release Rasengan represents a major step forward, as it marks the first time Naruto successfully combined the wind attribute with the Rasengan, rather than merely compressing and rotating chakra as before. Due to its extreme complexity, Naruto was forced to use two shadow clones to divide the process. The main body supplied chakra, one clone infused wind release, while the remaining clone stabilized the Rasengan's structure, allowing the technique to be completed with precision. The result was a Rasengan that completely surpassed the standard version. Its power even overwhelmed Kakashi's Rasengan, directly injuring his arm, thereby proving that Naruto had reached an achievement that even Minato himself had never completed. In actual combat, Naruto used this variant only once, when he coordinated with Yamato's water release to block Kakuzu's combined attack. Notably, on that occasion, Naruto deployed this Rasengan at long range, showing that this variant was more flexible than the normal Rasengan, even though it quickly became a stepping stone toward a more perfected version. Cho Odama Rasengan. Cho Odama Rasengan is a Rasengan variant amplified to the extreme, developed directly from the Odama Rasengan, with its size and destructive power increasing exponentially. Because it consumes an enormous amount of chakra, this technique is most effective when the user is in Sage mode. However, it is not entirely restricted to Sage mode. During the Fourth Shinobi World War, Naruto used the Cho Odama Rasengan to attack Madara, and Jiraiya, upon entering Sage Mode, had previously employed this technique when confronting Pain. Unfortunately, in both instances where this Rasengan variant appeared, it was countered relatively easily. Jiraiya allowed it to be completely absorbed by the Predapath, while Madara endured the full impact by using the ribcage form of Susanoo. Rasengan Super Barrage. Rasengan Super Barrage is a Rasengan variant that relies entirely on sheer numbers and relentless offensive pressure. With this technique, Naruto creates a large number of shadow clones, with each pair of clones working together to form a standard Rasengan. As a result, the total number of Rasengan created is always equal to half the number of clones summoned. Rather than a few massive Rasengan, numerous standard Rasengan are launched simultaneously from multiple directions, turning the battlefield into a storm of continuous attacks. If all of the Rasengan strike the target at the same time, the level of destruction is extremely terrifying. Naruto used this technique only once, within his inner consciousness during his direct confrontation with Kurama in an attempt to extract the Nine-Tails chakra. However, most of the clones were wiped out by Kurama's tails before they could launch their attacks, causing the Rasengan Super Barrage to have almost no significant effect. This demonstrates that despite its immense power, the technique still requires careful tactical calculation. Sage Art Odama Rasengan. Sage Art Odama Rasengan is a Senjutsu-based Rasengan variant that Naruto used during his battle with Pain, specifically to counter the summoned creatures of the animal path. When struck, these summons were blown away completely, clearly demonstrating the technique's overwhelming destructive power. What makes Sage Art Odama Rasengan truly special is not only its size, but the fact that it is enhanced by natural energy through Sage Mode. Although the Cho Odama Rasengan may be larger in terms of raw size, it lacks Senjutsu enhancement, and therefore its overall power cannot match this technique. The combination of a large-scale Rasengan and Senjutsu is precisely what made this technique one of Naruto's most powerful and effective attacks during his confrontation with Pain. Sage Art Massive Rasengan Barrage. Sage Art Massive Rasengan Barrage is the completed and most powerful form of Rasengan Super Barrage, used by Naruto after entering Sage Mode. With this technique, Naruto creates numerous shadow clones, each clone expanding its Rasengan into an Cho Odama Rasengan before charging the target simultaneously. The entire assault is enhanced by Senjutsu, causing each Rasengan to far surpass a normal Rasengan in power. When all of the attacks strike at once, the combined impact generates destructive force sufficient to flatten a vast area. Naruto used this technique during his direct confrontation with Kurama within his inner consciousness. Multiple Cho Odama Rasengan struck simultaneously, completely overwhelming the tailed beast and even dragging Kurama's massive body across a long distance, clearly demonstrating the overwhelming gap in power at that moment. Rasen Rampage. Rasen Rampage is a rare Rasengan variant that Naruto used while in Nine-Tails Chakra Mode version 1, primarily to deal with White Zetsu during the Fourth Shinobi World War. Instead of relying on shadow clones, Naruto directly utilized Kurama's chakra arms to form multiple Rasengan at the same time. These Rasengan hovered behind Naruto before being launched in different directions by the chakra arms, striking multiple targets in an instant. Thanks to the extreme speed of the Nine-Tails chakra in this first stage form, Rasen Rampage became an attack that was fast, wide-ranging, and highly effective in large-scale combat. Naruto used Rasen Rampage only once, but in that brief moment, the technique allowed him to swiftly eliminate countless White Zetsu infiltrating the allied shinobi forces. Rasengan Absorption. Rasengan Absorption is a Rasengan variant that stands in complete contrast to Rasen Rampage and was also used by Naruto while in Nine-Tails Chakra Mode. Instead of launching multiple Rasengan outward, Naruto creates a massive Ultra Big Ball Rasengan behind his back, then uses Kurama's chakra arms to grab multiple enemies at once and hurl them directly into the energy sphere. It should be noted that the Rasengan itself does not possess any suction ability. All movement is generated by the pulling force of the Nine-Tails chakra. Planetary Rasengan. Planetary Rasengan is a Rasengan variant that Naruto used while in Nine-Tails Chakra Mode version 1, and it is also one of the most visually striking techniques he has ever performed. Naruto used Planetary Rasengan only once, during his battle against Mu, who had been revived through Edo Tensei. Structurally, this technique consists of a large Rasengan at the center, surrounded by multiple smaller Rasengan rotating around it like planets orbiting a star. When released, the Rasengan spin in different directions before converging, creating an extremely powerful and chaotic energy vortex capable of dragging the target a considerable distance before dealing damage. Thanks to Kurama's chakra arms, which can extend over long ranges, Naruto was also able to deploy Planetary Rasengan from a distance, making it difficult for the opponent to react in time. Despite appearing only once, Planetary Rasengan clearly demonstrated the formidable power of the Rasengan when combined with the Nine-Tails chakra. Mini Rasenshuriken. Mini Rasenshuriken is a miniature version of the Rasenshuriken that Naruto used after entering Nine-Tails Chakra mode. Instead of forming a large-scale Rasenshuriken as he had in the past, Naruto created an extremely small Rasenshuriken at the tip of his finger with the assistance of Kurama's tiny chakra arms to maintain its rotational motion. Despite its small size, the destructive power of the Mini Rasenshuriken is still terrifying. When it strikes a target, the Mini Rasenshuriken instantly expands and unleashes its full power, easily severing the leg of a white Zetsu, demonstrating Naruto's exceptional precision and overwhelming offensive strength. Odama Rasengan Barrage Line. Odama Rasengan Barrage Line is a ninjutsu Naruto used to counter wood-release deep forest emergence during the 4th Shinobi World War. At that time, Naruto created an army of shadow clones spread across the battlefield, with each clone performing an Odama Rasengan enhanced by the Nine-Tails Chakra. Although Naruto did not strike Madara directly, this attack completely neutralized a massive wood-release technique that, upon its appearance, had caused the entire allied shinobi forces to believe they had no chance of survival. Thanks to its wide area formation, this technique can cover the entire battlefield and overwhelm all targets within an extremely large range. Wind Release Rasenshuriken. Wind Release Rasenshuriken is an ninjutsu perfected by Naruto after he fully grasped the principles of Wind Release Rasengan, and it is widely regarded as the completed form of that variant. To create the Rasenshuriken, Naruto still had to repeat the method he used previously, relying on 2 shadow clones to divide the execution process. The main body was responsible for supplying chakra, 1 clone stabilized the Rasengan structure, while the remaining clone directly infused Wind Release into the technique. The result was a central Rasengan surrounded by 4 massive blades of wind, forming a shape similar to a Fuma Shuriken and emitting a sharp, piercing sound that reflected its immense power. When Naruto first used the Rasen Shuriken to defeat Kakuzu, the technique was still incomplete and could only be used at close range, limiting him to a maximum of 3 uses before his chakra was completely depleted. Later, after entering Sage Mode, Naruto was able to throw the Rasen Shuriken over extremely long distances and use it twice per transformation. After the second use, he was forced to reactivate Sage Mode if he wished to continue using the technique. Upon reaching Kurama Mode or Nine-Tails Chakra Mode, this limitation was almost completely removed. Upon striking a target or reaching a certain distance, the Rasen Shuriken explodes and generates a violent windstorm filled with countless microscopic wind blades, so numerous that even the Sharingan cannot fully perceive them. These blades attack every cell in the opponent's body, severing them from the chakra circulation system, leaving the victim nearly incapable of using ninjutsu. The damage inflicted is so severe that it cannot be healed through conventional medical ninjutsu. After fully mastering the technique, Naruto was able to throw the Rasen Shuriken from long range without causing harm to himself, transforming Wind Release Rasenshuriken into one of his most dangerous, versatile, and frequently used attacks in the latter part of the series. Odama Rasenshuriken. Odama Rasenshuriken is a Rasenshuriken variant that Naruto used atop the God Tree during the 4th Shinobi World War. From a height exceeding 1 kilometer, Naruto hurled the Rasenshuriken straight down at Madara below, demonstrating the technique's extreme throwing range. Once released, the jutsu emitted a clearly visible glow in the darkness, and upon impact, it generated a massive wind explosion that could be observed from several kilometers away. This attack was powerful enough to temporarily incapacitate Madara in his Edo Tensei state, while also destroying both of Hashirama's wood dragons. Although it was unable to completely defeat Madara, the Odama Rasenshuriken still inflicted significant damage, showing that even the strongest Rasenshuriken variants were only just sufficient to slow down a monster-level opponent like Madara. Super Odama Rasenshuriken. Wind-style Super Odama Rasenshuriken is an extremely large-scale Rasenshuriken variant that Naruto used in combination with Sasuke's Blaze Release during their joint attack on the Ten Tails. This version was expanded far beyond the Wind Release Rasenshuriken that Naruto had previously used atop the God Tree. When performing this technique in Nine-Tails Chakra mode, Naruto used Kurama's chakra arms to enlarge the Rasenshuriken to a size exceeding even Gamakichi. Compared to earlier variants, this jutsu required 4 chakra arms instead of 3 in order to stabilize the immense amount of chakra contained within. Despite its colossal size, Super Odama Rasenshuriken could still be thrown over a very long distance with enough power to break through a large-scale barrier. When fused with Sasuke's Blaze Release, the attack's destructive power was further amplified as the wind enhanced the intensity of the flames, even though the resulting combined technique was no longer a purely Rasengan-based variant. Biju Bomb Rasenshuriken. Biju Bomb Rasenshuriken is one of the most large-scale and destructive ninjutsu Naruto used after attaining 6th Path Sage Mode. With Kurama's support, Naruto transforms a truth-seeking ball into a tailed beast ball, then further fuses it with wind-release chakra to form Rasenshuriken blades surrounding the energy core. The result is a Biju bomb Rasenshuriken, whose destructive power far surpasses that of a standard tailed beast ball. Naruto used this technique to counter Madara Uchiha's Chibaku Tensei Barrage, launching multiple Biju bomb Rasenshuriken into the sky and detonating the falling meteorites one after another. At this stage, Naruto no longer needed to rely on multiple shadow clones to throw each attack individually. The Biju bomb Rasenshuriken could instead float behind him autonomously and be fired simultaneously in any direction. The resulting explosions were massive enough to completely destroy gigantic meteorites, to the point that the entire scene had to be shown at an extremely wide scale just to capture their full scope. It can be said that the Biju bomb Rasenshuriken stands as the clearest demonstration of Naruto's overwhelming power at the peak of his Six Paths abilities. Sage Art Magnet Style Rasengan. Sage Art Magnet Style Rasengan is a Rasengan variant that Naruto used after attaining Six Paths Sage mode. This technique fuses the Rasengan with Shukaku's chakra, creating a sphere marked with the distinctive sealing patterns of a tailed beast. When it strikes the target, the sealing technique embedded within the Rasengan activates, causing the markings to spread across the opponent's body and restrain them in place. The attack nearly succeeded when used in combination with Sasuke's ninjutsu, failing only because Madara was able to substitute himself in time using Limbo. Even so, Sage Art Magnet Style Rasengan is regarded as one of the strongest Rasengan variants, representing the pinnacle of Naruto's Six Paths power. Lava Release Rasenshuriken. Sage Art Lava Release Rasenshuriken is a highly destructive Rasenshuriken variant that Naruto used after attaining Six Paths Sage mode. By borrowing the power of Son Goku, Naruto infused Lava Release into the Rasenshuriken, creating an extremely hot magma core that caused the surrounding wind blades to continuously vaporize as they spun. Naruto used this technique to strike Madara after he became Jubi Madara, inflicting visible damage by tearing open his abdomen, although it was not a finishing blow and Madara quickly regenerated. However, the most terrifying effect of the Lava Release Rasenshuriken lies in its environmental destruction. When expanded to its full extent, this jutsu completely cleaved the tree form of the Ten Tails in half, a being so massive that the Chibaku Tensei meteorites used to restrain the tailed beasts appeared like small rocks beside its base. Naruto's ability to cut through the God Tree with a single Rasenshuriken demonstrates that this is not merely a powerful variant, but a clear testament to Six Paths power at a near inconceivable level. Super Biju Rasenshuriken. Sage Art Super Biju Rasenshuriken is the ninjutsu Naruto used during the final battle against Kaguya and is also one of the most visually spectacular moments of the entire arc. Naruto, together with 8 shadow clones, simultaneously formed 9 different Rasenshuriken, each one corresponding to the chakra of a different tailed beast. From Shukaku's Magnet Style, Matatabi's Blue Flames, Isobu's Water Release, Son Goku's Lava, Koko's Boiling Steam, Saiken's Corrosive Fluid, Chomei's Explosive Pollen, Gyuki's Black Ink, to Kurama's Massive Chakra, all of them combined into 9 Rasenshuriken with completely distinct colors and powers. When released at the same time, the 9 Rasenshuriken instantly overwhelmed the battlefield, forcing Kaguya into a defensive position and disrupting her chakra control. This moment became the clearest symbol of Naruto's complete harmony with all of the tailed beasts. Six Paths Ultra Big Ball Rasenshuriken. Six Paths Ultra Big Ball Rasenshuriken is the strongest Rasenshuriken variant Naruto ever used, appearing in his final battle with Sasuke Uchiha at the Valley of the End. While in Six Paths Sage mode and fully synchronized with Kurama, Naruto left behind a separate shadow clone to gather natural energy. Once the accumulation was complete, the clone dispelled itself and transferred all of the Sage chakra back to the main body. Using this chakra, Naruto then created 2 shadow clones of the Kurama avatar and merged them together into a single entity with 3 faces and 6 arms. In the right arms, Naruto formed Six Paths Big Ball Rasenshuriken, while in the left arms he formed Tailed Beast Ball Rasenshuriken, both enhanced by Sage chakra. These 2 massive Rasenshuriken were thrown straight at Sasuke, colliding head-on with Indra no Ya, Sasuke's most powerful technique. The moment the 2 forces collided, the entire battlefield shook violently, and the surrounding terrain was torn apart, marking the absolute peak of power Naruto achieved throughout his journey. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.